Hi, I'm Hans Berglund of Berglund Architects, the architect of this mountain modern home in West Vail, Colorado. And I worked with Jeff Cohen of Cohen Construction, who was the builder of this home.
Hi, my name's Jeff Cohen. I'm the owner of Cohen Construction, and I'm the builder. I was first introduced to the owner a couple of years ago where he actually came to me to talk about building a home for him. And when he showed me the lot, I saw he had an existing home, probably built 20 years ago or so, and I don't think he ever envisioned that he would be adding on to that home and trying to put two homes on the same lot.
So after seeing a mountain modern home I designed on Fairway Drive in Vail, our client asked me to come to their house and take a look at their existing house and see if there was any way to add a new house on so that they could give the old house to their kids and create a more modern, contemporary home for themselves. They really wanted the new home to be filled with light, capture the views, and create a lot of indoor-outdoor living opportunities that they did not have in their current house. They also wanted to update the existing house with the exterior so that the two would blend together, so it would ideally look as if the two were built all at the same time.
The lot that he has here it's a pretty steep mountain site, 35% grade, it was heavily wooded, and I knew that alone would present some challenges for us.
So after seeing the site and talking through with the client with their goals, I knew right away this was going to be very challenging to try to create a new home on this very steep site, but I love challenges, and right away I could kind of see a vision of a very dramatic vertical home carved into the hillside that was perhaps connected to the existing house with a bridge that would kind of allow certain aspects of the site to kind of remain natural.
Some of the interesting aspects for me of this house were really had to envision it from almost upside down. We had to build it from the top down first, and then from the bottom up, and then again from the top down in order to finish it. And that had more to do with the height of the house and some of the geometry that was involved. We had tolerances in two corners of 2.5 inches, and if you think of any site you walk out to and look at a house and think that you have tolerances that big on a home of this size, we had to be pretty precise with what we were doing.
The owners were very artistic and really great at sort of envisioning things, and so the design developed very quickly. So we draw all of our projects with the 3D computer software, which I think is kind of unique to our firm in the area. We found it incredibly helpful for us and our clients to understand it so that we could kind of show images of kind of the new and the old home together. In this case for Jeff to kind of be able to have a clear vision of what the house is going to look like, working with his subcontractors, as well as for managing the approval process.
Without everybody participating in that part of the process and giving me information to digest and then put together in my own mind how to build it, never would have pulled it off. This house, has some of the trademark elements of a Berglund Architect home with the curved roofs, and with that you get curved beams, curved roof panels, curved metal panels.
Doing a home in snow country where there's big roof loads, you need a lot of structure just to support the roof. Instead of burying that steel in the house, I really like to kind of expose it and celebrate it. We did a very kind of grand curved roof over the main space, which kind of opens up to the east and create a lot of clear story lighting on the interior to bring light in.
You can stand inside the house and on the main level and look across the room, and your eye can't help but be drawn to what's going on outside. And when you get outside, you'll see the living space that was created.
The indoor-outdoor living was really one of the main goals for our client from day one. They wanted to have the upper level just kind of open up onto a gracious patio.
But then your eye can't help but be drawn up onto the hillside with the landscaping that was done.
The owners were very involved with the interior design process. They're very artistic, had just sort of great visions for kind of the materials and things they wanted to use. They really saw it as a very mountain modern and clean, but with a really rich materials, a lot of texture. Together, we really envisioned a very open, great room, very kind of informal for living with a large kitchen island. Really is kind of the center point for entertaining. Also a very kind of intimate dining area. They had this vision of kind of a square dining table for 8 people, kind of its own unique space, and yet still very open to the rest of the great room.
I think that was always part of their vision, was that the living space of the house kind of flowed continuously, that not one space was completely broken up from the next. And upstairs in particular, things focused around the kitchen, and from there it spread. Another main focal point of the kitchen was the island and the countertop on that island. The stone that they have here, we went with a thick edge. The type of stone that it is It's almost prismatic. From different angles in the room, during different times of day, different types of light, you see different colors coming out of that piece of stone. It's something that you can't help but notice when you walk into the room. A little bit about the kitchen cabinet: it picks up light from different angles.
Another sort of signature element of a lot of our homes are fireplaces. We really spend a lot of time just working with the owner trying to envision these kind of dramatic fireplaces that kind of add interest and scale to these large living rooms, which in this house I think was balanced really well with the owner's really rich selection of natural materials.
So when we talk about the living spaces of the house, another really fun space to build was the master suite. It just had a nice blend of finishes, had a great floor plan. There's a gas fireplace that's, you know, accented by some drywall details, very clean lines, and all of that gets softened by, on the back wall of the bed wall, is some reclaimed barnwood. That has a very different feel from any of the modern stuff that we put in place. And the way it all flowed from the master bedroom down the hall, his and hers bathroom, connected by a walk-through shower on the inside and the outside. The outdoor shower was kind of a unique piece. We don't get to do that much up here in the mountains. Another really nice element that we put in place was the front entry door. It's surrounded by a border of glass that is seamless. When you first approach it, you can't tell what's holding that wood in place. It's a pretty dramatic effect. It's a very welcoming effect when you walk up to the door. It's just a beautiful piece to see when you walk up to the house.
The stairway and the entry space is also, I think, a very dramatic part of this house. I really enjoy kind of creating these sculptural stair elements. In this stair we used kind of steel C-channels to support the stair, and then big slabs of wood which are floating.
It's a pretty dramatic effect when you stand at the top of the stairs and look down, and the same when you look up. Of all the components in the house, that probably was the most difficult, in that it took the most amount of planning, because with steel and wood of that size and dimension, you really don't get a lot of second chances. You have to nail it pretty much on the first go.
But in the end, I think it really became one of the most kind of unique aspects of the whole house.
When you actually see it lit up at night, and even sometimes during the day, it accents the work itself. Part of that vision of the owners with their lighting was to have it flow into the main living space. And so the same manufacturer who made those lights for them in the stairway also made a corresponding light hanging over the kitchen.
One of the most satisfying aspects of the job was just seeing how well the final product of the house came together.
When we're all said and done and we hand over the keys to the owner, seeing them enjoy their house the way they intended, their own vision, you know, comes to fruition. They're happy with the way the house works. You can sense that in the way they begin to act and live in the house. It's just really nice to see that happen.
And it was also just really satisfying just to see just how excited the owners were, and just everyone in the whole construction team was with the final product.